Hi, cousins. Oh, you didn't know this is a family reunion? For many of us in this fandom, we refer to each other as cousins. And so on this podcast, we don't introduce guests, but cousins. When I first started watching Dark Shadows in 2002 and discovered that there were others like me who enjoyed this show that had been off the air since before I was born, it was like being welcomed into a wonderful family. And especially when I went to my first festival in 2004. And I got the feeling that these are my people. And this is where I belong. I want all of you to feel that way too. This is a safe space, an all-inclusive space, a respectful space. You don't have to be an expert on Dark Shadows to be here. You don't have to be an actor who performed on the show or a big collector or anything. I mean, if you are, that's great, because all you have to be is you. That's why you're here, because you're you. You're here because you're you, and you are amazing. And I want to share all of my amazing and talented cousins with you, with each other, with the world. I want to be able to connect you with other people that feel the same way you do, that feel the same way I did in 2002. Don't feel left out because you were too young to have run home from school to watch the show during its original run. And don't feel alone in your love for the 1991 reboot or the movie House of Dark Shadows or Night of Dark Shadows. No one's going to bully you here for your like of the Tim Burton movie or being more familiar with the characters from the Dark Shadows audio dramas from Big Finish or the Marilyn Ross novels or the Gold Key comics. You're all welcome here. You're welcome. And it's good to have you, cousin. I want to know what your Dark Shadows is and what it means to you. I want to share your fan art and fan videos and fanfics and skits and your love of this fandom. And I want to connect you with people who really dig them. I remember how nervous I was at my first festival when you don't know many people and you haven't put faces to familiar names and you feel like everybody knows more about this than you do and maybe you shouldn't have come. I don't want you to feel that way, cousin. The 60th anniversary is coming up, and for many of you, this might be your first Dark Shadows event. I want to help you. I'm going to help you. you'll make new friends and discover where you fit in this fandom. Okay, cousin?
Welcome home, cousin. Welcome.
The Kalinda story. Okay, I'll try to make this short. So when I first discovered Dark Shadows and I first started going online, I was in high school, and I discovered Dark Shadows the summer after high school. But anyway, when I first started going online, I was in high school, and my parents did not want me to use my real name online. So being a huge Paul McCartney fan, I called myself Linda. And when the festivals came around and, meeting everyone in the Dark Shadows fandom, a lot of them knew me first as Linda. Well, then it got confusing because on Facebook, when Facebook started, I have my real name, which is Catherine. And some people were confused and knew me as Catherine or as Linda. And they're like, wait a minute. And a very dear friend, Astrid, had come up with the name Kalinda at Seaview one year. And she and Bob and some other people, started calling me Kalinda. And so that's where Kalinda came from. It's a combination of Catherine and Linda. So to some people, I'm Catherine or Kay or Kalinda or Linda. I am many things to many people. But what I hope I am to all of you is your friend. It's winter here now, but the spring will be here soon, and when spring comes, I plan to plant a vegetable garden. Friendships are a lot like gardens. You have to nurture them. Unfortunately, I don't get to see my Dark Shadows family very often. It used to be that I could see them every year at Dark Shadows festivals and parties at Seaview Terrace. Things have changed a little now, so I'm glad to have this podcast to keep in contact with them. I'm on my way down to the Blue Whale now to meet up with some of my Dark Shadows cousins. You may know and recognize them. Guy Haines and Sharon Smyth Lentz. Come on, let's head down to the Blue Whale.
My mentor, I usually say to them, you are enough. You are enough. Because a lot of them come with all kinds of defeatist attitude. And it's like, no, you take up all the room that you can. You are enough. You don't have to prove anything to anybody. You're good the way you are. We all can use improvement, but
Yeah. And that's one reason why I wanted to do this podcast too, is, I've been getting more self-esteem and confidence in myself where I couldn't have done this a couple years ago. Sure. I would say, no, I'm good. I'll just sit here. I'm good. And so now it's like, I think I can do this. I think I can do this, so.
Good job. Good job. I always remember an interaction with you when we were at Seaview. You did my makeup.
Yes.
Remember that?
Wonderful. Yes.
I would love for you to do that again. That was
Absolutely.
Fun. That was
Absolutely.
fun.
I'll bring my makeup to the Los Angeles event, and let me know beforehand if you have any specific colors that you want. If you want to
I don't like to look too made up. I just like natural, but I thought it was fun to have you do my makeup.
Yeah,
definitely.
I felt special.
You are special. You're very special. You're both very special. And with that, I'm going to introduce you. Yeah, recording here. So, hi, welcome to the back room at the Blue Whale. And I am joined here by my amazing cousins, my Dark Shadows family. And today we have the beautiful, wonderful Sharon Lentz is here, and the incredible, awesomely talented Guy Haines is here, and I am thrilled to introduce them to you and to share them with you.
Thank you
So,
so much. Hi there.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi,
Happy
everybody.
to be here.
Me too.
I'm nervous and excited and giddy, and it's a little scary for me. This is my first time doing anything like that, but I'm so thrilled and honored that you guys are here with me, and we're going to do this together.
This is great. This is great. Hopefully
Yeah,
people that haven't met Guy or myself will feel more comfortable when they do see us. Like you said, we're cousins, we're family, we know each other. Say hi.
hi, everybody. Yeah, I like one of the things I like to do at the festivals, after everything's kind of died down and there's nothing going on in the main room, is I take my camera and I go up and down the autograph lines and I talk to strangers and see how they feel about the festival, and if they're having a good time and everything. And I get mostly positive answers. Sometimes I get a negative, but it's kind of neat to talk to strangers. So
Absolutely. I've actually done, not with a camera, but I've actually walked the autograph line at times when it's really been backed up because I feel bad for the people that are waiting. I kind of just joke with them on the way by. They love it. They absolutely love it. I'll be like, how long have you been waiting? How long will you wait? What are you waiting for?
that's that's a wonderful idea. I don't know who started it. Maybe you, maybe Marie, but it's so courteous. Those lines were horrible sometimes, and for the people waiting to have you guys walk the line, that was just a wonderful idea.
Yeah, they certainly seem to appreciate it. In
Yeah.
fact, a couple of times when I recognized people from Facebook, early on when I guess Facebook wasn't as big as it is now, and I go and I knew their name like on the tip of my tongue because I see them on Facebook all the time, and I've heard them say repeatedly, I couldn't believe she knew who I was. And it was like, well, I see your face all the time on Facebook, so that
Well, I
it's
said
a
I
cool
used to say
connection.
that. I used to say that. I can't believe Sharon Smith knew who I am.
Oh, please. Guy, you've been a main factor in my experience with Dark Shadows fandom for years and years and years.
Well, thank you.
Guy, Guy always videotaped the conventions, so he was always a fixture right there. I always saw you. It's the guy behind the video cam.
I think it's very rare to see you without a camera because we are so used to seeing you, with the camera at the conventions and at Seaview,
Mhm.
and it's almost like an extension of
Yeah,
yourself,
yeah.
and even before I really knew you, I knew you were the video guy, you
Right,
know.
right.
Uh-huh.
Guy has an extensive historical video library of Dark Shadows. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome.
I was just telling Catherine before you popped in here, I'm finally in the process. I finally found a device and a program that allows me to transfer all the VHS to a little flash drive, and I'm
Really?
going gung ho on that. I'm doing all the festivals. Right now I'm doing the 1996 festival. So,
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah. Speaking of having a camera, I was so fortunate because, my first convention in 1983 was ShadowCon 7 in California. And I knew Kathy and Marcy and Dale Clark, and only by mail. I never met them in person. I met them in person, and that's when they had a meeting after the ShadowCon, and they decided we're going to start having Dark Shadows festivals on the East Coast. And I was lucky because I was the only person on the East Coast that they knew that had a video camera.
Right.
And a couple years later, when Jonathan Fred was going up to Seaview for the weekend with some friends, they asked him if he would mind if there was someone with a video camera. And I was the only one on the East Coast. And they said, "You don't mind to do this, do you?" And I said, "I'll I'll pay to do it." So I was lucky that I had a video
And
camera.
and those videos that you took from that, And
Uh-huh.
those stills that people have seen are iconic. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
all the
I
diehard Dark Shadows fans have seen them. You know?
yeah, I was very honored to do that. And I always because the way I had a video camera was I always when I was a kid, and I'm sure a lot of people out there are going to say they did this too. When you're in front of the TV, when Dark Shadows was originally broadcast, there were no such things as VCRs or DVRs. And so you had a little tape recorder, cassette tape recorder. You would set and you would record the episode. And 10 years later, I heard there was a machine that not only taped the sound, but the video. And I thought, what? And it was a VCR. So I got into all that as soon as it came out, video cameras and stuff like that. So,
Well, it's funny you say that about recording it. Of course, I've heard that story from different people, but Nina blew me away because she wrote everything down. She wrote the dialogue down,
oh,
practically the whole script down in a copybook so that she would like have it to share with other people who couldn't see it. And when she told me that, I was like, wow, that's dedication.
yeah, someone should post or print a couple pages of that in a
I don't know.
fanzine or
I don't
something.
know whether she still has it or not. She may,
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but she
Well,
did tell
I
me
I
that.
did that. I did that. I daily transcribed the episode. I only lasted about 2 weeks. I thought I can't devote that. I got to do my homework.
Right, that's a lot. That's a commitment.
Yeah, you do some incredible things with video, Guy. I mean, your music videos that you put on a DVD. I bought that at my first Dark Shadows festival, and
Oh, really?
I had to buy two copies because I wore out the first copy. And they're so wonderful. They really are, and that really inspired me to want to actually make music videos and to create Dark Shadows inspired music, which I do now. And
Oh,
I'm learning how to kind of make music videos with my own Dark Shadows music and play around with that. So
I
you're a
I've
good
Wow.
got
inspiration.
I've still got tons of ideas. I want to do it, but I just haven't made the time. I get a little discouraged though sometimes when you work on a video and then you upload it and Facebook nixes it because of the copyright or something. But I found a way to
Sure.
get around that lately. So anyway, I don't want to hog all the talk.
No, it's fine. I mean, you
You're
you have more history than I do as far as conventions are concerned. I didn't start going to Dark Shadows conventions until 87, I think. It was
Uh-huh.
87.
The
Um,
Was that the Manhattan Shadows?
Newark, I think.
Newark. Oh, okay.
I think.
The first place I remember seeing you was at one of the Manhattan Shadows. I can't remember. I think it was
Was that
the
at the
third one.
restaurant?
It was it was in a hotel in New York City called, oh shoot, can't remember the name of it. But you you were there with Jonathan, and I think maybe Marie was there. It was just the three of you. It was a
Right.
small small convention. But then after that, you started popping up at the festivals, I think.
Yes, until I had my son, who was born in August, and the conventions were in August, and the
Oh,
weekend always seemed to coincide with his birthday. And I didn't want
oh.
him to end up in therapy because mom was away with strangers and not there with his birthday. So I had to make that decision, so
Did
I missed a few of them in his formative years.
did your hubby or your kids ever come to a festival?
Yes.
Did they?
Um,
Oh,
in
cool.
fact, when Eddie, I want to say Lambert, is that right? When Eddie
Lambisi.
Lambisi. Eddie
Lambisi,
Lambisi.
thank you, thank you. Yeah, when he had his a Halloween event one year, my husband dressed up as Barnabas, only he wouldn't
Oh.
shave his beard, and my kids were dressed up for Halloween more or less. And we went to that and participated as a family. And
Oh.
I believe Jessica's first convention, Jonathan fawned over her.
Oh.
She was only about a year old. And my husband was with me. So they've been to a couple of them, but it's not really their thing.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Ed gets a little tense if too many people are hugging me and touching me, and he's like, "Who's that?" or he feels like he needs to stand between them and me, like you got to
Do you
understand, Ed, this is, I'm working.
it's a necessary evil, I guess. Do
And
you know
Jessica
that?
came to Seaview with me one time.
Oh,
Jessica, in fact, we got
I know
caught
that.
there during what, Sandy?
Yeah, Hurricane
oh,
Sandy.
We couldn't get off the island. And Ed was getting a surgery we were supposed to be back for, and we ended up getting stuck there, which was fine.
uh,
I mean, we had fun and we were safe, but
well, I should remember that. This is
And
awful. I hope I'm not getting something up
yeah,
here.
me too.
I'm getting forgetful. But hey, I wanted to ask you. You mentioned Jonathan fawning over Jessica. Do you know if there's any photos or?
I don't have any. That's not to
Oh,
say that somebody else
maybe
might,
somebody
but
out
she
there
was in a
has them.
stroller and he made a fuss over her. I don't know if anybody got pictures of it or not. I mean, we're talking about 92.
Uh-huh.
So I don't think cell phones were a thing then. Not
Yeah,
like today. Everybody's, pictures
yeah,
of everything, which is fine. But back in the day, it was an odd picture. You didn't.
yeah. Well, wherever Jonathan was, there were going to be cameras. So
Oh, for sure.
maybe a
somebody,
picture will pop up eventually. That would
That's
be
funny.
nice.
I should ask like Nina, if maybe she knows or she's seen. I'm not sure who else would be
Well,
privy.
right now is your opportunity to speak to everybody watching us. Is
Well,
there
there you
anybody?
go. If anybody has a picture from 92 with Jonathan and my Jessica, she was about a year old in a stroller at a convention, please let me know. Send it to me. That'd be awesome. My daughter,
Yeah.
Jessica, who I'm speaking about, now has a little girl who's about to be 1 year old the end of
Oh,
February, and
wow.
we're just tickled pink. She's a spitting image of her mom, and she's got a great personality. She's very outgoing. She's smiling all the time. She eats everything. I mean, my daughter has introduced this child to a Borgish of tastes. I mean, sometimes she'll say to me, "Guess what she tried today?" And I go, "Oh no, Jess, that's a little strong for a baby." And she's like, "She liked it." Okay. But yeah,
they
Oh,
have
she's
all kinds
just,
of videos out there with babies with lemons and limes and
oh yeah,
oranges and
pickles and falafel and all kinds of ethnic food that she's had sushi already.
wow.
oh,
Whatever
wow.
Jessica's eating. I mean, she just gives her a little bit. It's kind of a social thing more than it is a
Uh-huh.
nutrition thing. But
Mhm.
Jessica wants her to try as many things as she can so that she's not too averse to anything,
Mhm.
which makes sense. And she's so active with that baby. I mean, she's everywhere all the time. The baby gets around more than I do. I mean, she's been to multiple states and museums and ridden a horse already. And well,
Wow, what rode a horse under a year old? Wow.
she had some help, a little bit. My daughter
Wow.
works at a summer camp. She's a counselor at a summer camp, and
Mhm.
she has taken the baby with her many, many times, and they have animals there, and so the
Oh,
baby gets introduced. In fact, she put her hand right up the horse's nose. I mean,
Oh.
like, oh look.
wow.
Yeah, she's a cutie pie.
Oh, she
She
certainly.
absolutely is.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I said to somebody on Facebook, "Are you tired of seeing pictures of my granddaughter yet?" And I didn't wait for them to answer, and I said, "Too bad." Too
Well,
bad.
you know what, Sharon, I'm going to tease you a little bit. You might be getting almost as many pictures of Sylvia as you posted of Sweet Pea. Sweet
Well,
Pea was your is Jessica's little kitty.
yes, he's not little anymore. He's
Oh.
huge. And she just sent me a picture of she has a turtle, a Russian tortoise, and my daughter is just over the top with this tortoise. He has an indoor habitat, an outdoor habitat, and she just spoils him rotten. And he has this big habitat that's got a heat lamp over it, and it's got all greenery and stuff in it. Well, she sent me a picture of Sweet Pea asleep in the habitat with the underneath the light because he felt so good. And I was like, well, you can't
Oh,
blame him.
yeah.
But it does look funny. I might post that one.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of animal lovers on my Facebook page as well.
Mm.
So between my 3 dogs, my cat, my daughter's cat and turtle, they get a lot of airtime.
Yeah. Yeah. They're all adorable.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, speaking of trying new things, is there anything that you've ever wanted to try, Sharon, as an actor that you haven't gotten the chance to do? Because we can put that out there too, and maybe somebody who's got some kind of current production or something going on will be watching.
Well, no, actually, I have, as everybody knows, been involved in some independent films for some young people that I've met through my affiliation with Dark Shadows. And that's always fun to do. I like the camaraderie of it. I have to, at this point in my life, be careful not to overcommit because I have so much responsibility at home right now. I can't be away for long periods of time. But 2 of the independent films that I was involved with, even before my husband's medical issues, one came to my home and filmed, which he said it was great because it was an additional location for him. So he appreciated that. And the other one, they rented, they rented a hotel room that was like a suite. So it had like 4 individual backdrops there and filmed within a couple miles from my home, which was they were from out of state. And like that was really sweet of them. And that was during COVID. And they said, we would take all precautions necessary and we would do it at this facility. And, if you had to go for whatever reason, we totally understand. They really worked with me. So I don't like to have too many restrictions or requirements or whatever. When I do something, I commit to it 100%. So I need to be careful what I commit to. Now, if it's just something small, for a 1-day filming or something like that, obviously I would love to do that just because I like doing that. But as far as any specifics, no, not really. I kind of let the good Lord be in charge. He puts me in the right place at the right time all the time. And I've done things that I never imagined that I would do with that kind of thinking. So I like to make myself available. If you need a little old lady for your independent film, I'm probably the chick for you. I
Oh,
can do that.
that sounds odd.
That's true. My husband and I were watching something last night. I don't even remember what it was. And there was a woman that was working behind a school, like the office of a school building. And, she basically just like nodded to somebody and handed them a file or whatever. And she was kind of background. And I laughed from the sofa to the chair over there. And I said, I could do that. I like those kind of parts. No lines.
Can I ask you, when you filmed, is it on a country road or down a country road?
On a country road.
On a country. Did you go to Maine to film
I
that?
did.
Oh, okay.
I did. I spent the weekend in Maine, at Barry Dodd's home, the writer, director, producer, at his home, and we worked. It was the weirdest thing for me. We worked through the night. We slept in the day. We worked through the night because a lot of the scenes were supposed to be like in a rainstorm in the evening, kind of ominous. And so we were on this industrial, like an industrial compound. That's where the filming was, outside in this big circular driveway, and they had hoses and sprayers and all this making rain. And it was really funny because we kept going around in a circle to go through this scenario. And everybody was kind of cold and damp. And No, but I didn't get the worst of it. A couple of other actors got the worst of it, had to be in it. I was in a car, so
Yeah.
but it was very strange, fun, but
That
strange.
that is my favorite that you've done other than Dark Shadows. And I wish Barry and Karen would do more.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
Um,
think their heart wants to do more, but it's very stressful for them because of well, I don't want to speak for them, but
Mhm.
it's a lot to take on. If you're
Mhm.
not
yeah.
in the business per se, I mean, they have regular jobs. They
Right,
do
right,
this for
right.
the love of it. So,
Mhm.
they need backing. They need other people volunteering to do things, on a professional level. He doesn't produce, he wants to produce only quality, and he has up until this point. And I would jump at the chance to be involved in anything that he did because I know it's going to be a quality project.
Hmm.
But I also understand completely that it is a lot to take on,
Hmm.
and still have your regular life besides. I,
Yeah.
I don't doubt that he probably will do more,
Mhm.
but maybe not right now. That's all. Like I said, I can't speak for Barry, but he's a creative person. He has lots inside of him that I'm sure he would love to put something together.
Maybe
Mhm.
Catherine can have them on a
I'm
podcast and
hoping to
kind of
at some
Oh,
encourage
yeah.
them,
point.
show them
Definitely.
there's a
Oh yeah.
fans that want to see more from them.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I loved On a Country Road, and it was such a thrill to watch it with you at Seaview
Yeah.
to see that.
Yeah.
I think we saw it at Seaview, and I'm a huge old time radio fan, and so as I'm listening, kind of to Barry was kind of talking about the synopsis, and I think you were kind of talking, Sharon, about the kind of the general synopsis of the film, and I went, "That's On a Country Road. That's suspense. I know this," and I was so
Mhm.
excited. And then when they said On a Country Road, and it started, and you're in a car, and I'm like, oh my gosh, and I was freaking out in my seat. I was so excited, and the film itself was just so great, and you did a
It was very
fantastic
well
job.
done. Very
Yeah,
well done.
I loved
Did
it.
you get a chance to see what Barry and Karen had done prior to that series called Ragged Isle?
I'd seen part of it somewhere. I don't remember. Somebody showed me, I think, some of it, and it was like, wow.
Well, if any of your listeners are interested, there is a series, I believe it had 2 seasons. It's called Ragged Isle. I'm not sure how you would look it up, but I'm sure start with Google. It's probably on
Mhm.
YouTube or something like that. I've seen it
Mhm.
multiple times, but it's been a while. But it was a series, and there were Barry and Karen are Dark Shadows fans. And
Mhm.
there are things in the series that Dark Shadows fans will recognize as being like what they call Easter eggs from,
Mhm.
for you to see or to find and go, oh, they'll use a name that we're familiar with from Dark Shadows or a scenario. But really, really well done. Really well done. So I highly recommend that. It's been a few years since that came out, but
I was
Yeah.
just checking, and on a country road, it looks like it is on YouTube for people that want to. You have to, a lot of stuff pops up. There's a country song called On a Country Road. So you have to put in On a
Mhm.
Country Road, Sharon Smyth, and then it'll pop up. Now, Ragged Isle, it looks like that is available, but you have to subscribe. And I don't know if there's a
I'll
but it,
charge
it
you.
looks like it's on YouTube also. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool. Thank you for looking that up.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I don't think there's a charge to the subscribe. I think you just subscribe to that Ragged Isle channel. And I started watching it, and I'm embarrassed because Barry and Karen will probably hear this, but I only watched 2 episodes, and then something happened, and I put it aside, and now I need to get back to it because I know it was very well done,
It
very
really
well.
was.
Yeah, and to let everybody know, it's dark shadowy.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
We like stuff like that.
Yes,
I
we.
I I, I saw another one of your movies recently, Sharon. I Brazen Impact, no, Brazen Impact.
Yep, Brazen
Yeah,
Impact. That's one of
yeah,
those noir films.
Ooh.
yes, yes. I was at a local VHS show where people are selling, VHS. People are buying them like crazy now,
Really?
and I met Matt Burns,
Oh,
and
did
who I
you?
yes, uh-huh. I
Him and
I
his
was
wife.
paid,
That's another a couple that's very creative.
uh-huh.
They were very accommodating to me.
Yeah, I only knew him through Facebook, but it was nice to meet him in person, even though he's local here to me. So,
Hmm.
I'm
That's
gonna have
nice.
to check that out. My partner, Gordon Dymowski, he loves noir, and when you said that, I was like, oh, okay, I have to see this now, and I have to show it to him. So I'm gonna have to try to track that down.
Check it
it
out.
has an actor in it that was in the John Waters movies. I think
Oh,
George
cool.
Stover was in a lot of the John Waters movies.
Funny thing about doing some of these independent films that have uh names in it
Uh-huh.
that people know, I don't get to see them. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like we do our little bit and then somebody will say, "Oh,
Yeah.
did you meet so and so?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"Nope."
Oh, they should have a cast party or something.
Well, that reminds me, Sharon, because I wanted to ask you, with Dark Shadows, your character was primarily in the 1795 storyline and then a little bit kind of in like the modern day
Right.
storyline. Are there a lot of actors that you didn't get to work with on the show that you've gotten closer to,
Oh,
just knowing
absolutely.
mentions?
Absolutely. You know, Quentin, the character of Quentin came on, I want to say long after Sarah was gone. Um,
Mhm.
so I didn't get to work with him, but met him at conventions afterwards and love him. He's, a Southern gentleman. You can't not
Yes,
like him. He's a very talented man, David Selby.
he
And
is.
who else did I? Well, Marie Wallace. I
Mhm.
love Marie Wallace.
Mhm.
She's like,
He's great.
she's family to me. I mean, I
Mhm.
love her to death. She's the sweetest. I never
Mhm.
got to
Yes.
work with her. I never met her until conventions. So yeah, I've definitely enjoyed being with some of the other characters, even though I didn't act with them or wasn't on
Mhm.
at the same time as them. Um, Donna Wandry, I wasn't
Mhm.
on with her. Yeah, a bunch of them.
Do you ever wish that maybe they had brought you back on as like another character, or if they brought Sarah back, you
As as an
come
adult,
back on?
in
Hmm.
hindsight, of course, I wish that I could have been on more of Dark Shadows. But at the time, I didn't even think about
Hmm.
that. I fulfilled my contract. It was just a job. And when my contract was up and they said thank you very much, and I moved on and did some more commercials and whatnot. And as everybody knows, retired at 13, or before my 13th birthday, I retired. Um, it just never came up. And lots of people now
Hmm.
say to me, "Oh, you should have been, another character." I just say it wasn't meant to be, and maybe because Sarah was so iconic, even though I didn't know it at the time, such a special place in the show. Would she really have been accepted as anything else? And then the joke, I could see the joke, like ghosts don't grow. So now
Hmm.
Michael Sarah get to be teenage Sarah, like, so, and I would have had to been a ghost if I was Sarah, but I guess you're right. If I was somebody else, it would be different. But it wasn't meant to be. Little Sarah was
Hmm.
iconic. I get to relish my moment in the sun, you know.
You know,
Well,
Sharon, I hope you don't mind me asking you this because you might say, well, I've told this story at festivals, but I don't think you've told it a lot about how you got hired and all the other little girls
ask-
that were up for the part. And do you believe Dan Curtis himself chose you? I believe he did.
I do believe it. the scenario was when I got the call to go for an audition for a soap opera. Excuse me. It's cold down here. I'm in the basement. Um, it was just another audition. You know, at that time in my life, I was going on auditions for everything, you know, for modeling, commercials, whatever, plays. So it was just another audition. I didn't even know really what it was for. And at that
Uh-huh.
age in my family, when you're told to go somewhere, you went. You know, you didn't ask a lot of questions. You went, okay. And there was, as you say, a million little girls there of all shapes and sizes and colorations. And I didn't think too much of it until we got the second call to come back in again, and they had honed it down to a few, and then it got honed down to two, and it was between me and a young lady whose name was Eileen Burrell, and she was very waif-like and had long straight blonde hair and very, very pale, China doll pale. And I knew her. I knew her just from going on auditions and whatnot. And she had played a ghost on Wagon Train or something like that, a Western. And I had just assumed she looked, by that time I knew it was for a ghost. I just assumed she had the part until I believe it was like 2 days later. My mom got a phone call for me to come in for a fitting. And still, I don't think we realized that I had gotten the part. I mean, it would be unusual for them to try on costumes, even if you didn't, just to see.
Yeah.
And that was when I went in there to try on these cute costumes, you know, these long dresses, is when my mom found out that I had gotten the part.
Wow.
Now, during the audition process, by the third audition, when I went into this conference room where there was a bunch of adults in there, could I identify who Dan Curtis was? Probably not. They were just
Uh-huh.
adults, you know. Do I believe now that he was in that room? Yes, yes, I do.
Mhm.
And whether he himself picked me or it was a group decision, I couldn't tell you. Um, and I've said this before, and I still believe this in my heart. If I had to guess, the fact that I was had to guess between me and Eileen why it leaned towards me, was because I was darker.
Mm.
Um,
And Barnabas was,
Coloring of Joan Bennett, coloring of Vicky, coloring of Jonathan. That's
yeah.
just me, Sharon, the adult, looking back
Mhm.
and saying, I can see why they would go with that as
Mhm.
opposed to blonde,
Mm.
you know. But
Yeah.
that's just my opinion.
Uh-huh.
I don't really know.
Well, um, I don't know for sure if Dan Curtis had a sister in real life, but he made those two movies which were kind of based on his childhood in the Depression era and it's revolve around a brother and a sister, and the brother's name is Daniel and the sister's name is Sarah.
Really?
Yeah, one is called Whenever Day Was the 4th of July, and the other was The Long Hot Days of Summer, I believe it's called.
I didn't
And
even know that. Wow.
yeah, uh-huh.
Didn't-
They're very nostalgic, and I believe they're a little bit of a vanity project for him to do because I think
Mhm.
it takes place in Connecticut where he grew up. So yeah, they
Wow.
should release those on Blu-ray. I think they were on DVD, but there should be on Blu-ray.
Well, they say write what you know.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, that reminds me when you're talking about, with the audition and going back and you thought the other girl was going to get the part of, Sarah
Sure.
because she had played a ghost. When I was on Terror at Collinwood with Bobby and we were talking about ghosts, of dark shadows, and one of the things that I had mentioned is that Sarah is actually very much like the actual child ghost that I've come into contact with.
Well,
And
really, in what way?
just the way
Her
that
demeanor?
her demeanor, because I mean I've come into contact with some child ghosts before who, they don't have the answers, and they do seem kind of evasive, and I have to go now and I don't know where anybody is, and stuff like that, and so that is a very kind of like genuine portrayal, you know, and so I wondered when you went into the audition if you knew that, you know, you were playing a ghost or if you just knew that you were playing a little girl.
I knew that I was playing a ghost, but I have to say, I wasn't really an actress. Okay. I had done
Mm-hmm.
commercials and modeling and just kind of fell into this. Even my role on Search for Tomorrow, which was another soap opera I didn't have a whole lot of lines, just, you know, one line here and there, whatever. So I never really felt like I was an actress. I never had acting school or anything like that. So I was just pretending. And I really just was going with the feel of the script. So as opposed to
Mm-hmm.
method acting or as an adult, you know, thinking through the backstory of that person or, you know, I didn't have any of that. I just kind of went with it. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
went along with the lines and kind of felt them. But yeah, some of the dialogue when I watch it feels a little flat to me. And
Mm-hmm.
as an actress, I don't think that was good. But as a ghost, as you're
Mm-hmm.
saying, it kind of fit. So it worked out, you know. But I've had plenty of Dark Shadows fans criticize little Sarah over the years. You know, how did they pick her? She's the worst possible child actress ever. And I always laugh and go, well, I never said I was a child actress. I was a lucky little girl who ended up on that show. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I
You,
look at things differently as an adult than I did as a child, obviously.
I
Yeah.
say I always answer those if those people dare to say that to me, I say, well, she was good enough for Dan Curtis.
Good point.
Very
They didn't
true.
throw me out.
Well,
You know,
did you?
you're go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, well, did you learn anything about acting from being around these amazing actors, people like
Sure.
Jonathan Frid, and do you think that really rubbed off on you and helped with your performance?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If anything, it gave me confidence in what I was doing and not cockiness,
Mm-hmm.
confidence that if I followed direction, and I didn't get a lot of direction, the way some people might think, but if I followed direction, I took the whole thing very seriously and, you know, did my job, which was learn the lines, be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there, that you know, it worked out for me that way. And you know, Jonathan was always very comforting to me. Even though he was bigger than life, you know, I was a petite 10-year-old. I was little. And he was a big man and he had big hands and he had a big presence, but he always made me feel comfortable. And there were times when sometimes you know yourself in life where, like, I don't know, maybe one line or something that you're supposed to know, like, just doesn't stick. You get it wrong 4 times in a row and you want to punch yourself because it's like, what is wrong with me, you know? And he was always relaxed. Now, I may not use exact words that he used, but that was the tenure of it. It was relax. It's fine. We're just human. We all make mistakes, you know. And he was, I believe, for himself, very demanding of himself. But when it came to me, he treated me like a fellow actor and a fellow human being. You know? He didn't
Ah,
talk down to me. He didn't reprimand me. He just said, take a deep breath. You're good. You got this.
oh.
You know, and people ask me, well, was he like a big brother to you? No, he was more fatherly to me.
Uh-huh.
That was my perception, you know, that
Uh-huh.
he was more fatherly to me and told me, like, you're good. You're good. Don't worry about it. Just be here where you're supposed to be here, you know? So yeah, and watching the other actors and actresses, of course you learn stuff. You learn how to get past mistakes. because it was live to tape and it wasn't something where everybody stopped, let's do it again. It wasn't like that. You learned to try not to make it look too awkward and keep going. David was really good at that. He saved me many times, where I would, you ever have a conversation with someone with your eyes? And it's like,
Oh.
I'm drowning over here, help me out, and David would, throw out a line that I recognized that it made sense to me, and we would go from there. There was a little ad-libbing in there maybe, but we got back on track quickly. And you learn that as you go, a lot of the flubs in Dark Shadows that make it endearing. There were complete accidents, weren't done on purpose, weren't done to be funny, happened. I watched how the adults handled it, and I learned from that. They had a strong constitution. They were not going to be the one to have this go downhill too fast, So yeah, you learn from that. And again, I was just a little girl, and I didn't aspire to be any great actress. I was just enjoying the moment. It was fun. It was dress up, and
Making those balls from the rubber cement.
Oh
You were
yeah.
doing that.
All the cobwebs. I got yelled at
Yeah.
all the time for that. They were great. The
Hey.
styrofoam ball is the killer, though. Why they couldn't have a real wood ball? I mean, they are out there. But somebody took a styrofoam ball and spray painted it brown. You know how hard it is? It's like this with the tissue. It's not the same.
Now, I don't think I ever heard you say that. That's
No?
interesting. No.
Yep, that's what it was. It was very, very lightweight. And I just remember, like, this is ridiculous. Go back
Maybe
and
they were afraid David would knock you in the face with it.
Yeah,
or
maybe.
something.
You never know.
Can't have a ghost getting hit in the face with a ball.
Oh, my gosh.
Hey, you were talking about Jonathan, and helping you, calmly get through things. And I was thinking of a scene that you had with Peter Turgeon, the second Dr. Woodard.
In
Yeah.
the mausoleum.
Yeah. And I just had this is just my opinion. You were struggling a little bit, and he jumped ahead of you and said your line for you, and then you said your line. But I think his situation, he was crossing a picket line, and I think he was a little bit nervous to begin with to be acting, and so I think looking back at that scene, he didn't come off as fatherly as Jonathan with you, but I guess he was trying. Like you said, all the actors were trying, but he had a.
Yeah,
I mean,
I didn't feel like I had a relationship with him like I did with a couple of the other actors, because it was very fleeting, my time with him.
Yeah, that's one thing I wanted to. I'm glad you pointed out, because I wanted to say that.
But that's the way most of the actors were, as far as helping each other out, not just with me, but when someone else lost the line or jumped ahead or whatever, their counterpart would try to help. I mean, it happened to, I would go so far as to say, is almost everybody at one point or another.
I think sometimes there was an instance where Jonathan Barnabas Jonathan was in a scene with Dr. Lang, and in the next room was Julia, and she was calling the police. And Barnabas was supposed to say, remember someone, Dave Woodard. And I think Jonathan was just dramatically hesitating, but I think the actor that played Dr. Lang thought he forgot his line, and so he said it for him, Dave Woodard. But the thing is, that's a blooper, because Dr. Lang knew nothing about Dave Woodard.
Right.
So I think that was a case of jumping the gun a little bit.
Good observation.
Do you have a favorite scene, Sharon, that you did? And do you have a favorite scene from the show overall?
I have a couple of favorites.
Mhm.
Obviously, my big death scene with Jonathan, because it was intense for
Mhm.
us to work that closely together. Excuse me. And when I'm admonishing him in the old house
Mhm.
by the doorway, because again, we were breathing on each other. He got down, he was at my eye level. I could see the pores in his makeup. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how close we were. That was an intense scene for me and a memorable one for me, because of that intimacy, like the death scene and that. And the other one is my favorite scene because I love Thayer David.
Mhm.
And when he picks me up in the cemetery, that was special for me because there was some conversation before that scene or during rehearsal for that scene, that was a little bit more intimate for us because I knew he had a bad back.
Mhm.
I
Oh.
felt like I didn't want him to pick me up because I didn't want to hurt him, but I knew at the same time that was what was required, you know. And he said to me something to the effect of, "Honey, you don't weigh more than a bag of groceries. It's fine." You know? But yeah, I liked him a lot. I wish that I had the opportunity to have worked with him directly more. But yeah, he was special. But yeah, I'd have to say those are my favorites. And as far as my favorite scene with anybody, for anybody else, oh my
Mhm.
goodness, there were so many. Yeah, I don't think that I would pick out on anybody in particular.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
funny because I didn't watch the show when I was on the show, and
Mhm.
I didn't watch it afterwards until I was about 25 years old.
mm,
And then when I watched it, I got sucked into it. I watched a couple episodes and then I couldn't get enough of it, you know.
I think your death scene was very well done. Very moving. Very, very moving.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I tear up now when I watch it and I know what
Yeah.
happens, you know.
Uh, when you when they transitioned to 7095, do you remember, you might not remember, did you psych yourself up and say, no, I'm not a ghost now. I'm a living, human being.
Right. Right. No.
No.
I mean, okay, I shouldn't just say no because when I got to wear pink, you know, because I was alive,
Oh yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
was fun. I got to be a
Uh-huh.
little bit more animated, a
Uh-huh.
little bit more smiley and upbeat. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I guess I did make the differentiation between being alive and dead,
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
subconsciously. You know,
Uh-huh.
the dialogue was more upbeat. What was
Uh-huh.
expected of me was, you know, more upbeat. So, yeah, I
I'm going to
guess
be a flower girl.
it's funny. Somebody asked me, "Do you speak French?" And I said, "No." I was supposed to be learning French
Yeah,
when,
that's right. Yeah.
and it's funny, at that time, I did have French in school. Um, Unfortunately, I was learning French and Spanish at the same time because the class that I was in was two different grades. It was a private school, and they had third and fourth grade in the same room. So I was learning French and Spanish at the same time and ultimately didn't learn either one. I think I could count to 10 and say a couple phrases, and that was about it. Languages aren't my skill or my strong suit, I should say.
But you have other skills, and Guy, you certainly have a lot of skills. Guy sent me all kinds of incredible artwork that he's done for Dark Shadows fanzines and different things, and
Yeah.
wow, you are so incredibly talented, Guy. And I'm going to be showing that artwork. In fact, I have a special segment called The Gallery, and I'm going to be showing a lot of all that artwork that you sent in the gallery segment. But you've also written fan fiction.
Yeah.
That wonderful Christmas story that's like a yearly tradition to read that Dark Shadows Christmas story.
Well, it's funny. as I was sending you this artwork and I knew I was going to be on with Sharon today, I thought, well, I don't think I have any drawings of Sarah. Why didn't I ever draw Sarah? But you know what? The vast majority of my fan fiction revolves around Sarah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I my first fan fiction was about Sarah's confrontation with Barnabas there that you were just talking about a few minutes ago, and then these Christmas there's actually two there, and there's gonna be three, and I didn't have the time to finish the third one, but I it's gonna be a trilogy, and hopefully it'll be ready next Christmas.
Oh, good. Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But it's like Sarah is in her longing to find her parents, you know, in death, and she's actually helps a lot of other people. And
Sweet.
I also wrote a story for Bob Cobert, the guy, the the composer for Dark Shadows. When I was on the phone with him, and I said, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to write a fan fiction story about you when you were a boy. And he meets Sarah. Sarah comes for some reason. Sarah comes to Brooklyn from Maine, and she meets Bobby Cobert when he's a boy, and he teaches her a song, and it's London Bridge, because the song London Bridge did not exist in 1795.
Didn't you send me a draft of that?
I think I probably did, yeah.
I
And
remember that.
Bob liked it. Yeah, he gave a couple, you know, details about his life, you know. But in the end of the story, Bob's now an old man, and oh, well, Bob in I didn't know this when I just decided to write the story, but Bob told me he lost this dog, a puppy. He only had it a couple weeks, and it ran away, and he prayed to God, please send my dog back, and the dog never came back. And so in my story, Bob's an old man living in California now, and he's dreaming, and Sarah appears to him, and she brings him his puppy, which is a
Oh,
ghost too, you know, and they have a reunion. So
gonna make me cry. You know, it's amazing of the many, many, many Dark Shadows fans that I've met over the year. So many of them are so creative in all different kinds of ways.
yeah,
I mean, you know, the cross section of people that are Dark Shadows fans is just incredible. I mean, what a
yeah,
patchwork of people.
yeah,
And they all bring this incredible talents with them, from music to art to acting to writing. I mean, it's just amazing to me that these creatives are banded together through Dark Shadows. Like,
yeah,
it's amazing to me. It really is. Who would have ever thought that an afternoon soap opera would have the lasting effect that this has, but more than that, the impact that it had on so many people in so many generations for so many reasons. Um, I love when
yeah,
people tell me stories about their experience with Dark Shadows and what it meant to them, because I'm always blown away by it. It's like, wow,
yeah.
I never thought about it that way, you know?
I think our friend Helen Samaras was so enraptured by the 1795 storyline that she made her major in college colonial history, study of colonial history. So,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
amazing.
That's great.
Well, I'm going to say right now, I'm so glad that Sharon Smyth is going to be, and Sharon Smith Lentz, excuse me, Ed,
It's fine. It's fine.
is going to finally be in California at a festival. They're
Yes.
not calling
My
it a
first
festival,
time in
but
LA.
yeah.
Woohoo! I don't know how much of LA I'll get to see, but at least I can say I was there.
Well, if you need some places to, maybe go check out, I have a few suggestions. I have a few favorite museums out there that I think you'll get a kick out of.
Okay. We'll have to see what's expected of me and work around that. But yeah, I'm going to be in Texas. This when am I going to Texas? March. I'm going to be in Texas, and I'm thrilled. I've
Wow.
never been to Texas before either.
Wow.
So this is the year of firsts for me.
What's the convention? Do you know? Is it
Mockingbird Lane.
Ooh,
That's what
that
it's
sounds
called.
like a Munsters convention.
yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Is it?
actually, Butch Patrick is going to be there
Wow.
for
Oh,
sure.
cool.
But yeah, I got invited to that. So I'm going to be there, and I'm also going to be at uh York, Pennsylvania in the summertime. Uh that's called something like Old Grumpy Green Guy or something like that. I don't know. It's amazing the things that I get invited to. I just got invited to something last night that's in June, I think, or October. I don't remember.
Oh,
Without my calendar, I'm useless, but
yeah.
I will post wherever I'm going to be on my Facebook page. And, you know, whoever is not already on following me on my Facebook page, if you don't mind seeing pictures of my granddaughter and my dogs,
Hmm.
please come and join us. I used to have two Facebook pages, one for strictly Dark Shadows and one for strictly me. It didn't work out for me. So now I just have one and you get everything. It's a Borgish word. I love that word. Um, I do know that I'm saying it wrong, by the way. Um, yeah, please come be a Facebook friend. Have a lot of Dark Shadows people there, and probably more Dark Shadows people than anybody, but yeah. I like to keep it as upbeat as possible, stay out of controversy. I want to say no politics, but sometimes I can't help myself.
Yeah.
The state of the world today, um, I can't not have an opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just bubbles up, you know?
Yeah. Yep.
But I figure you have a right to say what you have and believe in what you do, and so do I.
Yeah. Right.
Mhm.
But keep it nice.
Well, it's nice
Whenever I,
seeing you. It's
whenever I
nice seeing.
watch the news, I say to my husband, "Can't we all just get along?"
Yeah. Well, it's nice seeing you at both of the Monster Bashes last year in the Pittsburgh
I
area.
know I got to be in two in one year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not going to be there in October though.
No, they're having another one in June, and I'm going to that. I guess I'll go to the one in October. I don't know, but I think that they wanted to hit Dark Shadows last year.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, because Catherine and I were both
yeah,
there.
too bad they didn't.
Monsterama this year has James Storm and Catherine Lee. Um, I think that's in July,
I think it's August. I think it's
August.
I think it's
It's after the
right
LA.
after the thing in LA. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Did they
didn't get
invite
invited to
you?
that.
They didn't invite you? Oh,
Oh.
well, I
I
don't
told
know.
I told Catherine. I said, Catherine, they didn't invite me. She put in a good word for you. I said, all right. I might not be in the budget, you know.
Well, I hear they're flying Jeff Thompson in, and Danielle Penny Dreadful is going to be
Yes,
there.
yes, yes.
We'll
All
see
my
her in.
friends. I don't begrudge anybody. It's whatever's meant to be.
Well, we'll see Danielle in LA.
Yeah.
I hope it would be fun. I've never seen her in person in her Penny Dreadful persona, so I hope
You
maybe
haven't?
no, no,
Oh,
or no. It's always been on TV, on video.
okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's adorable
Mm,
yeah.
she's awesome.
for sure.
Hmm. And what are you up to, Guy? Do you have any plans coming up besides working on putting the festivals on getting those
Oh,
digitalized?
yeah. Well, since 2009, we were having these parties at Seaview Terrace,
Mhm.
and we were all kind of sad because the owners sold it.
Mhm.
And on New Year's, a handful of us went up. I went up mainly to get um 16, 17 years worth of Halloween decorations. I had to
Mhm.
rent a truck and then a carrier to pull my car back to Maryland from Rhode Island, and then a storage shed to put all that in. But yeah, it was kind of sad to say goodbye to the house. I had an idea for people that have been to the house or even love the house, but maybe not, to write a love letter to the
Mhm.
house.
I
To
contributed one.
Yeah, yeah, and we had a little. I got a nice old looking box, and we put a picture of Vicky Winters on the front, running from the house, and we had a we had a little ceremony where we left. It's kind of like a time capsule up in the attic. We
Mhm.
left this box for future someone in the future to discover and read these letters.
Mhm.
And we did read the letters the night before, and I videotaped it. So if everybody that wrote a letter is okay with it, I'll put that up sometime on YouTube. But no
Yeah.
more parties for the time being.
Yeah. I cried when I watched the video of the ceremony.
Oh,
Especially towards the end.
uh,
I was just sobbing. It was so sad. It was so emotional.
yeah.
Oh, it really is like the end of an era. I can't believe we're not going to be there anymore.
Well, Bob Issel would always say, things this can't last forever. Just take advantage of it while you can.
Mhm.
And
Lots and lots of good memories
yeah,
made there.
yeah,
Lots of friendships formed.
Mhm.
yeah. We were lucky. We were fortunate. Unfortunately, I'm always one that likes to share things with fans, but unfortunately, we couldn't publicize it too much because we just didn't have room for people. And the ones that came, they would want to come again and again and again. So, but I don't know that Bob really had to turn anybody away that really wanted to come. So
I don't think so.
no. But other than that, I'm working on an article for a magazine called Cryptology about those parties.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, and what else? Like you said, I'd love to work on more music videos. So
Well,
and
if you want to do any music videos for some of my Dark Shadows music, you don't have to worry about copyright.
oh, okay. Well, also we right before sharing him when we were talking about Jim Pearson says that we're going to have a costume gala out there during, which
Mhm.
is kind of nice. And I said, well, what about a skit? He said, well, yeah,
Mhm.
we could have a skit. So I contacted Jeff Thompson, and he would always write skits he was the first one to write the skits for the festivals. But he's told me he wants to just enjoy himself as a fan. He's not going to be doing anything. So
Mhm.
I don't know. Jake Keaveney has written skits. Tracy Salonia, different fans have written. So if nobody wants to write one, I might give it a shot myself. I
Mhm.
don't know. But my my best muse for the skits was always Daryl Schaefer.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And Sharon knows Daryl. We
Yes.
Daryl and his brother Ken, they hosted me and then Sharon and her family. We had a barbecue there at least once and played croquet in their backyard. So
With the cows.
when your kids were really little. So, but anyway, Daryl, he's kind of gotten away from fandom, but I wish he would do something.
He's so talented. It's
Yes,
insane.
yeah. Yeah, Danielle's going to have him on one of her podcasts soon, hopefully. So, but I don't know if I approached him if he would do something in front of a green screen, and
Mhm.
I had the idea of the episode where Louis Edmonds thought he was done for the episode and went up to his dressing room and had his pants off. And he
Mhm.
came running down and did the scene in his boxer shorts. Thought
We
that Daryl
paid,
could maybe do that.
we paid tribute to that moment in a picture, which I can't find. I think Cheryl has it. But do you remember that year that the set was in the Great Hall at Seaview?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
were in the photo and Bob
Uh-huh.
took his pants off.
That's right. When you have Bob on, you're gonna have to show that photo.
Yeah, because I don't have that one. I think I have copies of a few of the other ones, but he
Oh,
has it. So
I don't know. I've got some, that's the thing. I've got so much stuff I don't know where to begin to look for
Mhm.
it.
I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I talk to Jonathan Harrison later on today, I'll ask him, about the skit because I know he's written some too,
That's right. Yeah.
doing a salute to the Collinsport players. So at some point, I'll probably have most of you on again. I hope to see you on again because you played a great role with the players throughout the years, and
Mhm.
so that'll
Well,
be.
I started out as just a video guy, and
Mhm.
I thought, oh, I'd love to be in there, but I need to mind my camera, and so they did one called Saturday Night Live of Dark Shadows, I think. Anyway, I played Elmer Fudd in that. My line, I only had one line. It was the very beginning of the skit. They played the cartoon melody that you always hear when you hear Bugs Bunny or something, and I got up on the stage and I had a clown nose that I painted, and I
Mhm.
go, "Shh, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting leviathans." That was my only line,
What?
but that was
I
my
I don't
introduction.
remember that specifically, but for some reason I have a picture in my mind of you on a stage with like a snidely whiplash
Uh,
mustache. What character would you have done that had that?
you sure that wasn't Bob? Bob. I don't know. I
I
don't.
feel like it was you.
You
I
think it
can
was
see
me?
your half smile and this mustache. For some reason, I have this picture in my brain. I don't know what it's
Well,
from.
you might be right. I nothing. It doesn't come to mind, right? That's my memory again
Yeah.
failing me. But if I think of it, I'll mention it. I know I've
Oh.
played Dan. I played Dan Curtis before, and I played Todd in the House of Dark Shadows. But I'm going to be um, sharing these skits on my YouTube channel. So,
Very
but
excited.
yeah.
Awesome.
But Bob has this thing. He gets next to a girl, and if she has long dark hair, he'll take a strand of
Uh,
that hair and like a mustache. I haven't
Mhm.
seen him do that for a while, but he used to do that all the time.
yeah, this is definitely your face, I say, but
Okay.
anyway, I'm gonna have to go make my husband's dinner soon.
Oh, Sharon,
Okay.
I just remembered. I just
What?
remembered what.
What?
Yes,
Stop the
the
presses.
the skit that we did at Seaview. I played Edward, who had the mustache.
See, I knew I
Yes,
had
you
that
were
picture
right.
in
You
my
were
head.
right. And
Okay.
and and we got into the ocean that year, and this piece of kelp or something come up,
Oh,
and Bob made it as a mustache for me. Okay, you were right, Sharon. You were right. I'm glad I thought of
was
it.
was that when I was Magda?
Yes. Yeah, you were
Okay,
Magda.
that's
Yeah.
right. It
Walter
all comes
Down.
back to me now.
Yeah, Walter Down wrote this skit. It was great. And
Yes.
I
Yes.
remember the audience, the other fans, and then Denise Carey and her husband Chris were there, and Chris just cracked up. He just loved it.
Mhm.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you've done a wonderful job, and I'm
Oh,
proud of you for taking this on and trying something new. It's awesome. The fans are gonna love it. Our
I
friends,
hope
our
so.
cousins are gonna love it.
Cousins. I
Yes.
hope so. And
Yes.
I am so happy and so honored that you both were here to help me out with this first episode. I couldn't think of better people that I would want to have with me for this milestone here. It is a milestone, and I
Awesome.
thank you both so much.
Awesome.
Yeah. Hey, I have a quick question.
Mhm.
On my Zoom page, there's a little thing that says okay up in the corner. What does that do? I have to give permission for this to be recorded?
I think so. Maybe.
Should I click okay? And
I guess so. If it disappears, we'll know that's not what to press. This is all new to me too.
am I muted now? Can you hear
No,
me?
I
Okay.
can
Well, I
hear
don't
you.
know.
in the
I don't
upper
know.
left-hand corner, it says this meeting is being recorded. And that's
Yes.
on
Yeah.
Calenda's. And I see the okay, but I don't know really what it is referring to. Should I click on?
You would think
Yeah.
if you're giving permission for me to record it, it would be right there where it says this is meeting is being recorded. But
I would think so.
yeah, I don't think
Oh,
it didn't do anything when I clicked. Nothing
I
happened.
oh my, what did I do? Press escape or Doug?
Well, I guess that's our symbol that we better head along.
I muted.
No, we
I
can
can
hear
hear you.
you. We can hear
Oh,
you.
it says mute. Oh, can you hear me still?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, because
Yeah.
oh, good. I hit, oh, did I curse? Did I? I usually go, I hit the okay, and then it said mute on it. So now there's a little hand up there. I guess I need to raise my hand.
The hand of Count Potofi.
I don't know. I'm
Well,
technically challenged.
Sharon, don't
do.
stay warm this weekend. I think you're getting a snowstorm. We're getting the same snowstorm this weekend.
Yes.
I
Go
heard
in the cat.
probably not till Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
Saturday into Sunday. Well, I got a notification earlier tonight that it's going to snow here tonight.
Oh wow.
Probably nothing significant, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We've been very lucky. Seriously. I mean, it's a heat wave out there. According to this, it's 35 degrees.
Yeah.
That considering it was 4 yesterday morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's supposed to snow tonight after 10 p.m.
Wow.
So we'll see. I'm snug as a bug in a rug. I got my milk, bread, and eggs. I'm good.
Yeah.
Good.
And toilet paper.
And toilet paper, yes. All right. It's been fun. I'm going to go feed my hubby now.
Okay, good to see you.
Love you guys.
Love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You'll let us know where and when to watch this.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. And I don't know if it's still recording or not when Sharon left. Oh, it is recording. We're good. Okay.
Okay.
I'm so used to I'm technically challenged. I have no idea what I'm doing. So hopefully this is recorded because I have had an amazing time with both of you. I've heard stories I've heard before. I've heard new stories, and it's just made me love you both even more.
Yeah. Well, this is just the beginning of a very helpful and entertaining idea here. I think it's really neat. So
hope so.
yeah.
I've got some friends that are filming some video segments for me, talking about things like convention FAQs and safety, things that they wish they had known at their first conventions. And if you'd like to contribute to that, feel free. Anyone who wants to contribute anything like that, to contribute any kind of Dark Shadows fan art, poetry, music, skits, anything like that, feel free to contribute, and we'll put it on here. And I want to share my talented cousins with each other and with the world, because I love you.
Well, wonderful. Love you too. So well, listen, I guess I'll be going too. So it was a pleasure and an honor to be your first along with Sharon, to be your first two guests. So all right. Well, you take care, and
You too. Thank you.
Goodbye, everybody. Nice to see you.
Thanks, Guy.
Happy shadows.
Happy shadows. Well, I guess that's it. We do have some interesting segments still to come. There's some music videos. There's some art. In the gallery, we've got Guy Haines' wonderful artwork. And stick around here at the back room at the Blue Whale.
Styrofoam tombstones wobble in the shot. Boom, Mike shadows, lines they forgot. The Collins sport fly corpses with blinking eyes. Time traveling Afghans, the teleprompter stuck. Live on tape excitement. We can't afford to stop. Chroma key dreams, crew members in the scene. There's a fire off stage. I blew my voice out with that scream. You came in too soon. Don't pick your nose on screen. I read the wrong page. I can't remember the right name. The set's falling down. I've been upstage. Styrofoam tomb.
I have a little friend that only I can see. She's a little girl who comes to play with me. Sometimes she sings a song, sometimes she has a ball. She wears a little bonnet and carries a doll. My friend gave me a riddle that I don't understand. I have to find the answer and escape this dark man. This man says he will hurt me if I don't become Josette. But my name is Maggie. The sun's about to set. I only see him after dark. He scares me more and more. Where did you go, little girl? At last I found the door. And blindly now I'm running. Will this tunnel never end? My name is Maggie Evans. I have a little friend. The gallery is a portion of this podcast in which I get to share the incredible fan art from some of my Dark Shadows family. Today's artist that we're celebrating is Mr. Guy Haines, and Guy has drawn for all sorts of different fanzines and different projects. He's made some awesome t-shirts, and so I am thrilled to show just a little portion of some of his work today. Enjoy the gallery.
I'm Charles Delaware Tate. I'm here to paint a portrait. It was commissioned last year. I've just gotten here. I'm known to be fashionably late. This commission was a godsend, it's true. I was living in a dustbin, eating newspaper stew. A starving artist no more. I've fans in Europe by the score. I'm sure to have fans here too. I've discovered I've a talent no one else can do. Whatever I draw or paint comes true. This is an inner monologue. You didn't hear that part. Let's cut unnecessary dialogue. When can I start? Mr. Collins with my portrait, you'll be the envy of your friends. In all my social circles, I'm known for working with my hands. Of course I'm not pushy, let me position you just so. Just leave everything to me, it's already paid for, you know. You'll be pleased with the painting in the end. Was a godsend, it's true. I was living in a dustbin, eating newspaper stew. A starving artist no more, I fans in Europe by the score. I'm sure to have fans here too. I've discovered I've a talent no one else can do. Whatever I draw or paint comes true. This is an inner monologue, you didn't hear that part. Dialogue. When can I start? Mr. Collins with my portrait, you'll be the envy of your friends. In all my social circles, I'm known for working with my hands. Of course I'm not pushy, let me position you just so. Just leave everything to me, it's already paid for, you know. You'll be pleased with the painting in the end. You'll be pleased with the painting in the end. Oh, and you'll be the envy of your friends.
The floorboards creak and the shutters bang, and loudly the house settles at night. It's been a week since I came, and I'm starting to think they might be right. Everyone here talks about ghosts, and I've heard crying in the night. This old dark house, which creaks and groans, is starting to wear on my mind. I swear I saw that door open, the one which now is locked. They claim it's been locked for 50 years, but I know what I saw. Everyone here talks about ghosts, and I've heard crying in the night. This old dark house, which creaks and groans, is starting to wear on my mind. I know someone's there in the darkness at the top of the stairs, perhaps. I swear I feel a presence. Mr. Collins, please don't laugh. Everyone here
Number 11, Vicky. She's here to offer some tongue-in-cheek advice for the darling but dim governess.
Through sight and sound and faceless terror, through endless corridors by trial and error, ahead a blazing light does burn, and one door leads to the point of return. door. You must answer as before, so it will be after. Screaming skulls, mocking laughter. Through sight and sound and faceless terror. Through endless corridors by trial and error. Ahead a blazing light does burn. And one door leads to the point of
Here at the back room at the Blue Whale, I get along with a little help from my friends. And here's my friend Cassie now with Cassie's Corner. Take it away, Cassie.
Hi, everybody. My name is Cassie Hussy, and I was one of those kids who used to run home from school every day so that I could catch the latest episode of Dark Shadows. There is another convention coming up on the West Coast in LA, and it's very exciting. And for those of you who are going to be able to attend, you should have a lot of fun. It is wonderful to be around friends that also share a love for Dark Shadows. And it's also fun to meet new people who are also in following Dark Shadows, the original series. Some of them like the new series too, and the movie. And so that's okay. It's Dark Shadows. And the idea is to be able to meet friends and to interact with the actors and actresses that were on Dark Shadows. And the whole purpose of me just jabbering away off the cuff here is to provide some safety tips and answer some general questions about conventions, whether you are attending for the first time or you've been to multiple conventions like I have. It can be very confusing. There are a lot of people. There are a lot of places that you'll need to locate so that you can attend events or just get together in the restaurant. So I've thrown together some hints and suggestions, and then I also have some questions that are asked a lot. Okay, so one of the first things to do is before you even arrive at the convention, if you're going with friends, is to pinpoint a meeting place, a place for all of you to meet together. And that could be in the lobby. It could be in the restaurant. It could be just outside of the hotel. But have a prearranged place to at least meet up first. After that, you can also predetermine a place to get together if you get separated from each other. This location would be one that you all agree on. And should somebody wander off and or everybody wants to go to a different activity, this is a prearranged place where you can regroup. Okay, so I'm not sure if the convention is going to be using any mobile apps. But one of the things that you could do before coming to the convention is just to check and see whether or not there's a mobile app that you can put onto your phone. The next thing that you guys could do, whether you're in a group or not in a group, if you're by yourself, one of the first things to do is to find the information booth. There are volunteers there that man the information booth, who can give you directions and some information. The information booth is also a good place to come to if someone becomes lost or missing from the group. The information booth has volunteers that can help you locate someone who may be strayed off. This is really important. Find the restrooms. Find the water fountains. Restrooms are generally safe, but if you feel safer, make arrangements to visit restrooms with a buddy. Another important place to locate is the restaurant and or the bar within the hotel. Some people will want to take meals there. Some will want to go out. But locating the restaurant or the bar is generally a good idea, especially if you want to pick up some water to carry around with you. Water is going to be really important because you can get thirsty waiting in line, or if the room is really warm. Okay, now you're probably going to have a badge that you're given to wear once you sign up or register at the convention. And security at the convention uses these badges to verify your registration and to reach your emergency contacts if they need to. So it's really important to wear your badge and keep it in a visible place. Okay, so one of the questions is, what do I do if I lose my group at the convention? Now, earlier, I mentioned having a prearranged meetup point for everybody to get back together. If you all wanted to go in different directions, you can say, well, by such and such time, we're all going to meet here. Okay, but what happens if somebody does not show up, or you go to the prearranged place and nobody is there and you're waiting a long time? What do you do? Okay, use your phone to text. It's a good idea within your group to share each other's phone numbers so that you can text each other. You don't always have good call reception inside a building, so sometimes texts will get through faster than a phone call will. Okay, so now you've texted your group and someone is not responding, or they are all still not showing up. What do you do now? You can notify a convention staff member, or there are going to be many volunteers who are on the floor. And you can also notify a security officer. They're all trained to handle finding people who are not in the prearranged meeting place. Now, if you do go to the information booth or or you contact the security officer, wherever you are, just stay put. It's a lot safer to stay in that vicinity so that if security reaches out to your group, they can come and find you without an issue. Okay, you want to make sure you know where the exits are. You want to make sure that you know what the route is that you're supposed to take at various places in case of a fire or an emergency where you have to evacuate. This would include not only on the floor where the convention would be, but it would also be finding the way out on your where you have your room reserved. Okay, so you need to know both things. You need to know how to get out in case of emergency from the main floor and also from your room if you happen to be upstairs and everybody needs to evacuate because of a fire or because of an emergency. Okay, so some of the other frequently asked schedule questions. A lot of people will say, well, where can I find the full schedule? The full schedule is going to be available and it is posted on official social media for the convention or on the Dark Shadows news page. And you can find the link for the Dark Shadows news page. And if not, I can provide it maybe in chat. You need to do this, or you need to start looking about 2 weeks before the convention begins. And this way you have a better idea of what's going to be happening, where it's happening. Another question is, well, can I pay everything with a card or should I bring cash? It's always a good idea to have cash handy. Most people do accept debit and credit cards, but sometimes there's a vendor, or sometimes during an autograph session, there may be something that you'd like to purchase, but they don't have the capability of taking a card. So you should have some extra cash on hand for that. Another question is, well, once I get a ticket, is it refundable? Okay, so the official policy is that all ticket purchases are not refundable. All right, so what do you do when you have to go to a venue that is located? Maybe there's a place that you're going to be visiting outside of the convention center. I have a phone number for West End LAX for the reunion. The hotel front desk, the phone number there is area code 310-216-5858. And you can also find a staff member in the lobby if you need to. Okay, if you do visit a historic site outside of the convention center, just make sure you stay in a well-lit, high-traffic public area where you can be easily visible. You would like to travel at least with one other person, and you just stay to the areas that are open to the public. So in other words, you would not go into a restricted area or an area that is marked staff only. Okay, so I am just checking to make sure. Okay, here's some other things. They're little bitty safety tips that's going to help you. Okay, it is really important to realize that there are going to be long lines and you're going to be standing for a period of time. Bring comfortable shoes. Make sure you have water to stay hydrated. And there is a physical prep tip that I have seen online that sounds reasonable and should work. It's called the 6-2-1 rule. And what that means is you should aim for getting 6 hours of sleep a night. You should try to get 2 full meals, not just snacks here and there. And you should take a shower every day, just so that you feel fresh and it helps to wake you up in the morning. I've always preferred morning showers. Some people would like to take showers at night. It's up to you. It's your preference. Okay, about your belongings. A lot of convention sites do not want you to bring large bags, backpacks, or strollers. So use a small bag when you're, especially if you're going to wait in line, like a real over your shoulder backpack. For essentials, like you could bring a phone charger with you, you could bring a water bottle with you, you could bring some snacks for when you're standing on the lines and are waiting to greet your favorite Dark Shadows person. I'm hoping that everybody has a wonderful time. And I think that if you can follow these tips, it's going to help make this an enjoyable time with reduced confusion and chaos. And I wish you well. And I wish I could be there, but we're not able to do any traveling this year. Okay. I will see you next time. I'll have a couple of etiquette tips to go over with you. Bye for now.
Hi, cousins. We all know that the Dark Shadows event is coming up here in LA in just a few months. And for some of you, you may have a long trip ahead of you. You might be flying in from somewhere or taking a long car trip or coming by train. One thing that I like to do on a long trip is color. Coloring isn't just for children anymore. In fact, it's been proven to relieve stress and make you feel better. And I've got a great coloring book. It's this, the Dark Shadows coloring book. Now, maybe you didn't know Dark Shadows has a coloring book. Well, they do. And in this coloring book by Hermes Press, they cover every storyline. Look at this. Look at that. How cool is that? There's all different characters from all different storylines and all different costumes. Look at this werewolf. Pretty cool, huh? So remember, if you don't feel like reading a book or listening to a podcast or music or watching a movie, you can always color the Dark Shadows way. My partner and the peanut butter to my jelly, writer Gordon Dymowski, couldn't make it to my chat with Sharon and Guy today. But he will be joining me when I talk to our cousins Bobby and Jonathan. So he'll be here for that. But he does have an important PSA for you. Check this out.
Hi, my name's Gordon Dymowski. As well as being a professional writer, you've probably remember me best from either my meetups with Chicago Whovians United or my frequent appearances on Resident of Collinwood. I know many of us are struggling right now. You know, we want to enjoy the Dark Shadows experience, but we either can't afford the DVDs or we don't have enough time for streaming. So I'd like to offer you a place where you can get those and more. And I'm talking about, of course, your local library. With just a single card, you can have access to books, DVDs, Wi-Fi, meeting rooms. I mean, libraries are not just places where you can go check stuff out and read it. They're places where the community can get together, and you don't have to worry about paying anything. You want to sit in the library all day on a cold winter's day and stream through the 1897 storyline, or at least a good chunk of it? You can do that at your library. If you want to bring the kids, have them do homework while you watch Dark Shadows, you can do that. You can check out music. You can do research. Libraries are wonderful places. And if you live in a larger city like Chicago or St. Louis, there's actually an interlibrary loan system where you go to your local branch, you can actually order a book to be delivered to you, and there you go. So remember, take it from me. I grew up using the library since I was 7 years old. In fact, I once got convicted of library card fraud, but that's a story for another day. So remember, if you need a place to go, check out your local library. Thanks.
Looking for something good to read? Check this out.
She survived. Her world did not. In the mysterious mists of a remote island village, one girl is chosen as bride to the island king. Surrounded by monsters, separated only by a massive wall, the village owes its survival to the mysterious, unseen being known as Khan. Dangers await just beyond the wall, in the shadow of the skull. In the Shadow of the Skull by Amanda Desiree. Now available in print and ebook.
You'll come back again, I hope. Here, where the legions of the damned salute you. Good night, cousins.
Welcome home, cousin. Welcome.
The Back Room at the Blue Whale is a Dark Shadows podcast.